Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Jesse with Kinetics High Performance, and today I want to talk about some myths about sports performance training that you could be falling for in your own training. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start with the biggest one. It's not about raw strength numbers. Lots of athletes fall prey to the myth that adding massive amounts of weight to the bar will turn you into a super athlete that dominates the competition. While there's a little bit of truth there, it's a massive oversimplification of a very complicated process. The reality is, muscle only potentiates strength, and strength only potentiates power. Here's the reality. Training for athleticism depends on many factors such as your training age, your sport, and even the position you play. Packing on the plates will certainly help in building muscle. Whether you train that muscle to maximize force production is a separate thing altogether. And I don't have to tell you that even if a guy is big and strong, it doesn't mean he's powerful. If an athlete is powerful, they are capable of accessing that raw strength quickly. And in sports, someone who can access more force than their opponent and do so faster will generally win their individual battles. So, if you are caught in the mindset of simply adding more plates to the bar, you need to get out of it. Yes, you need to lift heavy, but if athleticism is your goal, then it needs to be balanced with things like hops, jumps, and throws. Oh, and don't forget to train in a multi-planar fashion. Sports is more than just the singular plane that most lifts travel through. This means twisting and moving laterally through space. Next, I'm going to trigger some of your favorite online coaches and influencers with this one. In fact, I probably should have just started with this one. Are you ready? Here we go. Simply loading your sports movement with weight has a very minimal effect, if any, on making you better at that movement. The exception would be the sports of powerlifting and Olympic lifting. The competition itself is about increasing loads in the particular movement, whether it's a squat, deadlift, bench press, clean and jerks, or snatches. Now you have to understand, the main purpose for athletes lifting weights is to increase the maximal force production or raw strength. This is done by engaging the high threshold motor units, or HTMUs, the large nerve cells that control our most powerful muscle fibers. Strength is the foundational quality for all power, and thus speed. However, we must strictly separate pure strength work from skills training. Simply loading your sports movements, such as taking shots with heavy basketballs or hitting with a heavy bat, can and often will interrupt the normal execution of the highly specialized movement pattern. This forces the body to change the technique to overcome the load, potentially establishing faulty mechanics that are slow and inefficient. For skill development, use differential training. Focus on getting stronger in the weight room and then use implements that are only slightly heavier or, more importantly, slightly lighter than the competition weight. This allows you to improve both your force and speed without fundamentally changing the precise learned motor skills and helping to avoid overuse injuries. Speaking of speed, are you still spending time on the agility ladder thinking it makes you faster on the field? Well, I have some bad news for you. That famous footwork drill is a myth when it comes to true athleticism. Here's why your ladder work isn't translating to game speed. The critical distinction is agility versus change of direction. The agility ladder equals change of direction, or COD. The problem is that COD is predetermined. You know exactly where you're going when you're doing cone drills, ladder patterns, etc. It's a purely physical ability. And agility equals reaction. Now, true agility is the ability to change direction in reaction to a stimulus, like an opponent or a moving ball. Now, understand this. The ladder trains your ability to move your feet quickly in a pattern, but it completely skips the decision-making needed in a real game. Then there's the force problem. Yes, speed is a force problem. The reason you accelerate fast, decelerate, and make a sharp cut is because you apply high force into the ground in a short amount of time. This is called rate of force development, or RFD. Unfortunately, ladder drills reward light feet and skipping. They're designed to minimize force application. The bottom line, you're training your nervous system to produce low force quickly, which is the exact opposite of what you need for an explosive cut or sprint. You also end up training rhythm, not speed. Agility ladders are fantastic for rhythm, coordination, and warm-ups. They're great for training the central nervous system, or CNS, to fire rhythmically. However, getting better at the icky shuffle only means you're getting better at the icky shuffle. It's not specific to the explosive, non-rhythmic, asymmetrical movements required in sports. So, what works instead? Well, there are 3 pillars. To get truly faster and more agile, you need to train the 3 pillars. Pillar number 1 is strength. You have to build the engine using heavy lifts like squats, deadlifts, and Olympic variations to increase maximum force output. Pillar number 2 is power. Train the explosiveness using plyometrics like box jumps, depth jumps, and bounds to teach the body to apply that force quickly. And pillar number 3 is reaction. Use reaction drills like the mirror drill or other drills based on visual cues to train the perceptual cognitive skills that define true agility. So here's the final conclusion. Ditch the ladder as your primary speed tool. Use it as a warm-up, but save the real training time for getting stronger, becoming more explosive, and practicing reaction-based agility. That's how you build game-breaking speed. Now, hopefully, this video helps you determine if your own training is based off of myths or if you're actually becoming more athletic. Now, you tell me, are there other sports performance methods you use that you think could be based on myths? Tell me in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, consider giving it a like or subscribe for more sports performance content to help you get to the top of your game. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.